Back at it again, and based on the title of this one, it seems like someone broke ranks in the Democratic Party. Yeah, so we gotta check this out. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's dive in.
With slave labor, and because of the work of Representatives Jesse Jackson Jr. and Zach Wamp, the new visitor center is named Emancipation Hall in that recognition. Mr. Coleman Hughes is a columnist for Quillette and has worked as a freelance opinion writer since January 2018. He's had pieces published in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the National Review, the City Journal, and the Spectator. He's studying philosophy at Columbia University, and we appreciate your attendance, and you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Cohen, Ranking Member Johnson, and members of the committee. It's an honor to testify on a topic as important as this one. Nothing I'm about to say is meant to minimize the horror and brutality of slavery and Jim Crow. Racism is a bloody stain on this country's history, and I consider our failure to pay reparations directly to freed slaves after the Civil War to be one of the greatest injustices ever perpetrated by the U.S. government. But I worry that our desire to fix the past compromises our ability to fix the present. Think about what we're doing today. We're spending our time debating a bill that mentions slavery 25 times, but incarceration only once, in an era with no black slaves, but nearly 1 million black prisoners.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this guy. He's speaking facts already. If we want to talk reparations should have been paid to actual slaves that were freed. Actual people who went through slavery. Not ancestors, not their cousins, not their brothers, not their uncles or sisters. Actual slaves. Well, guess what? That ship has sailed. They're dead. They've been dead for a long time. Rest in peace to their souls. Because obviously, we can all agree, they went through some horrible stuff. I almost cursed. They definitely went through some horrible stuff. But if we're going to talk reparations, that should have gone to them. Why do I deserve reparations? Now, would I like an extra check? Absolutely. Hey, if you want to send your boy a care package, hey, hit me up with a super thanks. All right? You can find it down below, okay? Would I like some extra money? Of course, but not in the form of reparations. What good is that going to do? And of course, my thing is, and we're going to get back to this video, I'll end it with this. It will never be enough for folks. We'll all be like, okay, reparations. All right, we're done now. We're done. And then there's going to be a whole group of individuals. That ain't enough. You took too long. You didn't give us enough money, and you didn't give it to us in the form that we preferred it in, or whatever else. And now we're back at square one. So what's the point? Exactly.
A bill that doesn't mention homicide once at a time when the Center for Disease Control reports homicide as the #1 cause of death for young black men. I'm not saying that acknowledging history doesn't matter. It does. I'm saying there's a difference between acknowledging history and allowing history to distract us from the problems we face today.
I bet they angry that they let him speak now.
In 2008, the House of Representatives formally apologized for slavery and Jim Crow. In 2009, the Senate did the same. Black people don't need another apology. We need safer neighborhoods and better schools.
Facts.
We need a less punitive criminal justice system. We need affordable health care. And none of these things can be achieved through reparations for slavery.
That is true.
Nearly everyone close to me told me not to testify. Nearly everyone close to me slavery. Nearly everyone close to me told me not to testify today.
Sounded like somebody called him a garden tool in the background. I wonder what race they were. Anybody want to take an educated guess? Exactly.
They told me that even though I've only ever voted for Democrats, I'd be perceived as a Republican and therefore hated by half the country. Others told me that by distancing myself from Republicans, I would end up angering the other half of the country. And the sad truth is that they were both right. That's how suspicious we've become of one another. That's how divided we are as a nation. If we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further, making it harder to build the political coalitions required to solve the problems facing Black people today. We would insult many Black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors. And we would turn the relationship between Black Americans and white Americans.
Look at this guy right here. He's boiling right now on the inside. He is absolutely boiling. Watch him this whole time. I mean, this whole time he's just been making faces, shaking his head, putting his hand over his face, all types of stuff. Just watch.
Insult many Black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors. And we would turn the relationship between Black Americans and white Americans from a coalition into a transaction, from a union between citizens into a lawsuit between plaintiffs and defendants.
Look at his hand.
What we should do is pay reparations to Black Americans who actually grew up under Jim Crow and were directly harmed by second-class citizenship, people like my grandparents. But paying reparations to all descendants of slaves is a mistake. Take me, for example. I was born 3 decades after the end of Jim Crow into a privileged household in the suburbs. I attend an Ivy League school. Yet I'm also descended from slaves who worked on Thomas Jefferson's Monticello plantation. So reparations for slavery would allocate federal resources to me, but not to an American with the wrong ancestry, even if that person is living paycheck to paycheck and working multiple jobs to support a family. You might call that justice. I call it justice for the dead at the price of justice for the living. I understand that reparations are about what people are owed, regardless of how well they're doing. I understand that. But the people who are owed for slavery are no longer here, and we are not entitled to collect on their debts. Reparations, by definition, are only given to victims. So the moment you give me reparations, you've made me into a victim without my consent. Not just that, you've made 1/3 of Black Americans who poll against reparations into victims without their consent. And Black Americans have fought too long for the right to define themselves, to be spoken for in such a condescending manner. The question is not what America owes me by virtue of my ancestry. The question...
I've got something to say, but I'm waiting until he finishes this speech. That's why I'm sitting here quiet this whole time. We've only got about a minute left, so...
is what all Americans owe each other by virtue of being citizens of the same nation. And the obligation of citizenship is not transactional. It's not contingent on ancestry. It never expires, and it can't be paid off. For all these reasons, Bill H.R. 40 is a moral and political mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Chill. He was presumptive, but he still has a right to speak. Mr. Burgess Owens is recognized. Mr. Owens.
Hold on. I think he's right here. Where's that? Wait, was that the guy that was making all the faces? Let me go back here. Nah, you can't see his shirt. I think that might be him. Where's that lady? Okay, there's the chick that was there. She's got to be like right. Yeah, I can't even find her. That might be the guy that was making all the faces and covering his face and doing all the extra stuff.
Every witness and everybody here should be treated with respect. And
Man, where do I begin? So I guess I'll start here. It's sad to watch people boo him for speaking the truth, for speaking facts, for somebody to allegedly, now I don't know if this actually happened, but it sounded like it. You guys heard it and you can chime in the comment section, but it sounded like somebody in the background called this man a garden tool. Can you guess what race they are? I can almost bet with 100% certainty that they weren't white. I'll even leave that one alone because I was going to go somewhere with that, but I'll leave that alone. Besides that, the fact that you have so many black people, and he said 1/3, so over 60% of black people are in favor of reparations. You have so many black people who are crying over something that they don't deserve and getting angry at a fellow black person for speaking the truth about them not deserving it. That's sad to me. That is sad to me. Instead of suiting up, lacing your boots up, getting to work, the way that I see it is, you got a lot of black folks that are still sitting there. Gimme. And have been doing that for generations. Where has it gotten you? And I go back to a speech by a guy by the name of Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher. Shout out to Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. And I've said this before, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this story. But in one of his motivational speeches, he talked about someone pushing you down, right? And yes, that person was wrong, but if I come back a week later and you're still laying on the ground, that is no longer that person's fault. That's now yours. That person was wrong for what they did. Absolutely. Absolutely. They shouldn't have pushed you down. But if you're still laying on the ground a week after they pushed you down, that's nobody's fault but your own. You could have gotten up, dust yourself off. You might have had some bumps, some scrapes, some bruises. Might have even had a couple broken bones, depending on where how you fell or whatever. But you could have gotten up, and you chose not to. You chose to lay there and cry about it. And that's what I see in some of these folks. That's what I see. Maybe I'm wrong. Listen, maybe I'm wrong. Y'all can let me know in the comment section. I know this is a little controversial. Whatever. But somebody's got to say it. Suit up and lace your boots up. Get up and get to work. What are we crying about? I get so tired of hearing people, oh, well, we need reparations because, you have every opportunity to be as successful as you want to be. It is now your fault that you weren't successful. It ain't theirs. The white people of today that, they tried to make us hate aren't the same white people that enslaved the black people then. So to blame people of today for something that didn't happen today, for something somebody else did, and I could go back to something that I've always said, that's like blaming me for something my grandparents did. Hey, your grandpa, before he passed away, he wrecked into my grandfather's car. I'm going to need some money from you. I'm going to look at you like you got 4 eyes. Are you fucking stupid? Are you stupid or are you dumb? Which one? You're not getting a penny out of me. Go get it from him. He's 6 feet under in a pine box, all right? Go ask him for it. Don't ask me for it. It's ridiculous, man. But, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Talk to me in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button before you go. Shout out to that brother there, man. Salute to him. I'm out.